Oh lads, I am dreading this. Cleaning out the fridge and the freezer is one of my most hated tasks, but it needs to be done. It is long overdue. So let's dive in. Hi guys, it's Laura and today we are going to be tackling my fridge and freezer, and we have a little helper today. Hello, say hi. Say hi. Say hi. She's not going to be helpful at all. Are you? You're not. Let me show you what we're dealing with here. I have to keep closing the door because it beeps if you leave it open for too long. Let me show you. This is one situation where I definitely want to get some storage solutions because, particularly for the freezer, it's just so narrow and deep and everything just gets shoved in there. So I definitely want to get some form of container that I can pull out and just like keep everything corralled together so nothing gets squashed and forgotten at the very back. Can I help you? This is the fridge situation. I'm going to go through this really quickly because it will beep at me, but we kind of keep dairy on the top, snacks type stuff here, drinks here, leftovers or open packets here, meat, then like vegetables, fruits. Yeah, these drawers are not looking good. Coming over here to the door, we kind of keep more cheese in here, milk, juices, wine that my husband cooks with, and then random condiments. Are you helping again? Are you helping again? Oh, you're such a good girl. Yes, you are. Freezer then, we just shove things in anywhere at all. It's mostly full of ice cream, honestly. But I don't even know 100% what is in there, so this is going to be a fun adventure. Okay, I'm diving in. I'm not going to take everything out at once because I don't want it sitting out for too long, so I'm going to work in sections. I'm going to start with the shelves here, then I will work my way down to the drawers and then the door. So I'll take stuff out, clean, declutter, and then put it all back in. No, it's not playtime. It's not playtime. I wish. Yes, Jovi was zero help whatsoever, and in fact turned out to be a huge hindrance throughout this process, but a cute one. Now, if you're short on time, or maybe your home is particularly hot, or you just have a very distracting puppy, I would even advise just going shelf by shelf here, but pull out as much as you can in one go, including the shelving itself, and then give the inside a good wipe down, particularly the little ledges where the shelving sits. Those were the grottiest parts of my fridge. I just used water to wipe everything down, but you could also use an antibacterial agent if you wanted. I gave the shelves a good wash too, again just with water, but I was really careful here not to use hot water so that I didn't crack the glass. If you find that there are a lot of crumbs stuck between the glass and the plastic edging, a toothpick will help get a lot of those out. Now, while I was doing all of this, I was considering whether or not I should get those fridge coasters, you know, like the lining that you can put on fridge shelves, but I concluded that it's just as easy to take the shelves out as it would be to remove a liner, so I decided against it. Then I dried everything, but I don't know, I feel like glass shelves in fridges are impervious to tea towels, or just, maybe I just have a useless tea towel. But once they were dry, or as dry as I could get them, I slid them back in. I will say to try and keep your fridge door closed as much as possible to keep the cold air in. Even if you're switching your fridge off during this process, it will mean the motor will have a lot less work to do to bring the temperature back down, and your food won't be warm for longer than necessary. You will see that this is a big mistake that I made later on. So this is what I'm dealing with. I'm going to go through and categorize and declutter anything. Neighbors' dogs are going crazy because Jovi's outside and they're just talking to each other. But I really want to get an idea of what I have, so that when I go to buy a storage container-y thing, I'm actually buying the right size. So there's no point in me just going out picking something because it may be too big, too small. So once I go through this, kind of figure out what my actual needs are, then I can measure up and get the right thing for the job. Here I categorized everything, which I always recommend, just putting like with like. It makes it much easier to find what you're looking for. It also makes it much easier for you and others in your home to know where to put stuff back, and you will be able to see at a glance when one particular thing is running low. Now, your categories will likely look different to mine, but as a reminder, on the shelves I have dairy, snacks, small drinks like bottles and cans, and leftovers. In the drawers I have meat, fruit and veg, and on the doors I have milk juice and condiments. I went through everything to make sure it was still in good condition. I removed anything that wasn't, and then I got a sense of the types of things that I would like to keep in a container. I didn't want a container for everything, just the smaller, more like fiddly things that keep falling over or getting lost. So for us, that was cheese, spreads, and snack packs. I went ahead and measured the items and the dimensions of the fridge shelves, including the height, to make sure that I would buy the right size containers. And then I made a note of those measurements on my phone so that I wouldn't forget them. But yeah, I still made another mistake here, which I will cover later. But once again, the dog was absolutely no help whatsoever. Yes, I'm very glad that I decided to do this in sections because my helper has been nothing but a distraction. So this stuff has already sat out longer than I would have liked, so it's overdue to go back in. I honestly would not worry too much here about getting everything perfect. I went back afterwards and made some changes. It was just about trying to keep the categories together, knowing that everything else could be tweaked down the line if needed. Now it's time to tackle the worst part, which is these drawers. Really not looking forward to this. What are you doing? You're supposed to be helping. You're supposed to be helping. What help have you been, huh? What help have you been? Same deal. Took everything out. Oh, it is a sad state of affairs in here. One of the meat packages has leaked. And then it's just general grottiness from spinach that I left in there. Every time. Can I help you? Hello? Hello? What are those smells, huh? Now I've got to clean these drawers. This is the part that I hate the most. These didn't take too long to wash, thankfully, but they were still awkward to get out and, as you will see, put back in. So I decided I definitely wanted some form of container in the drawers that would be easier to pop out and wash individually rather than taking out an entire drawer. And also to keep the red and white meat separate. Okay, that wasn't that bad at all. In fact, the hardest part of that was trying to stop my dog from jumping up and getting all the meat off the counter while it's sitting out. But why is it always the tasks that we dread, that we procrastinate on the longest, that are the ones that end up taking like no time at all, not that much trouble, but yet the things that we think will take only 5 minutes, those are the ones that take about 5 hours. This was so quick. I don't know why I put this off at all. Oh, I forgot the actual crisper thing. I didn't realize that came out. Hello again. This was where I started getting a bit fed up. The crisper was full of little crumbs that were really hard to get out, so that was a pain. And for some reason, the drawers decided that they didn't want to go back in easily at all. Probably did not help that I was trying to fend off an inquisitive dog the entire time who just wanted to smell everything, kept trying to jump up to steal the meat off the counter. But yeah, I was pretty frazzled and fed up from here on out. Okay, time to start going through this stuff. I can already tell that some of it is definitely going. Okay, this is my thought process. Let me know if this is also you, but I will buy spinach, and I think I'll definitely eat it because, I need to start eating healthier. And then the spinach sits in the fridge for weeks until it starts to disintegrate. Then I throw it out. I tell myself I'm not going to let that happen again. I am definitely going to eat the next tub of spinach because I need to start eating healthier. And so on for all eternity. What is that good intentions food for you? Now the door. I'm kind of hesitant to say it, but this should be quick. Well, it probably would have been if Jovi didn't appoint herself chief condiment sniffer. Every single one had to be carefully inspected to see if it passed muster. But then I wiped down the door and I washed the little shelves. By the by, this is also a great time to change up the configuration of your fridge if you think something else might work better. I think a lot of us just kind of stick with whatever way the shelves came when we got our fridge, but most are adjustable, so see if moving things around would be better. Then I went through the food and yeah, some of it was bad. I'm not even sure how long it has been there, but too long. Anyway, I was able to free up a shelf. So this is everything that I pulled out of the fridge. That's a lot. Now it's time to tackle the freezer, and I am just listen, this is a law unto itself. So I am just going to pull everything out as quickly as I can, go through it, throw it all back in after cleaning, of course. But yeah, I want to just power through this one. Oh, it went rapidly downhill from here. Taking everything out was a mistake. I should definitely have broken it up like I did with the fridge. And as you're about to see in a minute, I made a second mistake, which just exacerbated the problem. Oh, this is filthy. I've got to clean it up now as quickly as I possibly can, because all the stuff has to go back in soon. The second mistake that I made was switching off the fridge at this stage because the alarm was just driving me mad. Well, actually, not so much switching it off as forgetting to switch it back on. So not only was the freezer stuff out for much longer than it should have been, but even after I put it back in, it made no difference because the freezer wasn't on. So yeah, learn from my mistakes. Take the stuff out in sections unless you know for sure that you will be able to get it all done quickly. I could not because of the dog, but also if you are switching your fridge off, set a timer or an alarm on your phone to remind you to switch it back on. Oops. At this stage, though, my husband presented me with a gift, which was lovely. He's very good at just giving random gifts for no particular reason. But yes, he also expressed concern at this stage for how long the stuff had been sitting out. So I quickly checked the condition and categorized everything. Okay, my husband actually helped me go through some of that stuff and get rid of the things that he no longer wants. So that made things easier, but now I've got to get all this stuff back in ASAP. Trying to decide which way I want it to go back in. Like, which way am I going to categorize it? Where am I going to put everything? Quick decisions. Have to make quick decisions. And then I made the decision so quickly that I forgot I wasn't actually recording start of this. And while I am editing this, I am just screaming at the screen, turn the freezer back on. Oh, the ice cream was just all in a puddle. Okay, I was just fling stuff in, no rhyme or reason because it was all starting to melt, but I got rid of some more stuff here. I'm going to dump this now because this is also melting. I'm going to take some final measurements and then I'm going to go to Target and buy all of the bins. Yeah, this is the stage where I made mistake number 3. And I honestly don't even know how I made it because it was something that I was actually conscious of at the time, but still managed to balls it up. But when measuring, be sure that you are measuring the narrowest part. My drawers, for example, are narrower on the bottom because they come in a little bit because of the runners that allow them to slide in and out. And then following on from that, I also made the mistake of not bringing my measuring tape to Target with me. Most of the bins had measurements on them, but some didn't, or they didn't have all of the measurements, and that proved detrimental. The kitchen organization section was sadly lacking. I only found 2 things there that would work, but top tip for you, the bathroom section is usually where it's at in terms of decent storage. So I headed there and found some suitable containers. Not perfect, but close enough. I also ended up buying some clothes and shoes for my daughter because is it even possible to go to Target and only leave with what you went in for? They didn't have everything that I wanted, but I got what I could. We're gonna make it work. I'll probably have to go back and get this. Is what I'm going to be using in the freezer. Nice handles, can just pull them out, slip them back in, but they only had 1, so that's not much good to me. Now I need to wash them and then pop them in. Before I officially peeled off all the stickers, and by the way, why have we not evolved past stickers yet? But I popped them into the fridge and freezer to make sure that the containers would fit, and that was the point when I realized that some of them would not. Now, I was able to make most of them work by just kind of turning them another way, but there was one container that just wasn't going to go in, so live and learn. Anyway, I am not normally a big container person. happen, and I definitely wouldn't normally run out immediately after a tidying project and buy things. I prefer to live with it for a while until I'm sure I know what I need and what will work. Here I had been wanting some containers for a long time before the fridge and freezer. I'd already put a lot of thought into it, so I knew it was the right choice at this stage. Especially for the freezer. I had even given serious consideration to just buying a new fridge, but you know, containers are cheaper. Honestly though, I will never understand why fridges and freezers don't come with pull-out shelves. Like most of our kitchen cupboards do, and they are brilliant. And now I want them everywhere. But until that time, again, containers basically will do the same job. Now, I only have one container for the freezer right now, but at least for that stuff, I can pull it out and see what's at the back. Surprise, it's the next day. Folks, it has been a week. You will know if you follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. But yeah, it has not been a good week. And this project, mistakes were made. But I have learned from them. Hopefully my fridge is looking a lot emptier, but my freezer is still pretty packed. So I'm gonna have to focus on eating up stuff from the freezer, doing that natural decluttering it all into my tummy, into my family's tummy over the next week or so. Let me show you what they look like now. Look how bare it is looking. So we did use up some stuff for dinner yesterday and for my daughter's lunch this morning. But on the top here, we still have some dairy, and I used this just to corral all the small cheeses. Here, all the kind of small snack packs, that's done. Drinks here, this is usually for kind of leftovers or any packages that are opened. Here we got rid of some fruit, and I just have these two containers. Again, they're really just to keep the drawer clean. There's no real, like nothing has to be separated necessarily. Vegetables, here's where I made a big mistake. I thought I would fit 3 across, but that was just bad measuring on my part. Also, this opening is only this wide, whereas the drawer goes much further back. So it was harder to get those in. So be mindful of that, the actual opening that you have. But again, really just for, you know, cleaning, for ease of cleaning rather than having to keep everything separate here. But the meat I did want to keep separately. So this container here is for red meat. We've got 2 things in there, and then white meat. So that's that. And then the door I managed to free up, and it's dog's leash. Free up an entire shelf here, some random condiments, mostly milk. We go through a lot of milk, and then I put the butter in here because the butter does, it's kind of, because it's in boxes and then it comes in sticks and stuff, it just ends up all over the place. So I had wanted to get another one of these to put here and put all the like butters and spreads and stuff in, but they only had 2 at Target, so I used it for these because these are the most annoying things that keep falling over and just spreading out all over the place. So butter now up here. Okay, freezer then. Again, I just have 1 box there on top. It's still looking a little cramped, but it's definitely better. I wanted to get more of these, but they only had 1. But yeah, much easier now to pull the stuff out and see what is actually there and then just put it back. So if I could get more of those, I would. Ideally, again, they'd be a little bit wider because I'm kind of, you know, dead space here, although I could slot some. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put this right in there. Look at that. Okay, super. So that's what that's looking like. Still tons of ice cream that we're gonna have to work our way through, and kind of like desserty stuff. Mochi. And then the doors, I kind of just shoved fries essentially in there. But yes, I'm gonna make a concerted effort now to actually eat our way through a lot of this stuff, and yeah, hopefully make the rest of it look a little bit neater. But I'm still really happy. But I know what you all came here for. You're here for the before and afters. So I will pop those up on the screen now. I am really pleased with how this turned out, but very frustrated with the mistakes that I made. Kind of rookie mistakes, but still you live and you learn. So I definitely will not be making those mistakes in the future. But also I think now just having the containers, even though they're not perfect, they're not exactly what I wanted, they will still do the job and they will still make things easier to clean up from now on. So instead of having to take out an entire drawer or whatever, I will just have to take out 1 container. So that's going to be much easier. I'm all about making these dreaded tasks as easy as possible on myself, and I think this is going to do it. Let me know what you think. Let me know what are some rookie mistakes that you have made while decluttering, and if you want to see more videos, declutter with me, clean with me videos, I will have those linked for you. But until next time, go raibh míle maith agaibh, agus feicim mé sibh sigalua. Slán!